Alright guys, so a little update today. I'm going to make this video kind of short. What's going on here on the property. As you probably know, the East Texas, or all of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama probably too, have been getting their share of rain. We actually got a nice day today. It's very hot and humid, of course. But I don't think there was a day that it didn't rain. It went in well over a month, you know. Even if it was just a light rain, but most of the time they're just downpours during the night or during the day. And it's really taken a toll on me, on the property, and of course the garden. I lost 3 or 4, probably 4 or 5 fruit trees. Just, they couldn't handle all the water anymore, so they died. I lost most of my garden. I got my squash that should be going up the trellis right now, about that tall. And my tomatoes, usually this time of year, June, middle of June, we're making tomato sauce, basically. I picked 3 tomatoes already. That's it, just 3 tomatoes. Whereas the other, what was it? Not last year, the year before, was it? 700 pounds of tomatoes we processed. Okay, this year I got 3 tomatoes. 3. The blight on the tomatoes and a lot of other things is uncontrollable because when you get blight on, it's a fungus, when you get that fungal infection on your plants, you're supposed to spray it right away with like a copper type spray. But if it rains, you got to spray it again. Well, if it's raining every day, you're pretty much wasting it. Okay. So it gets to the point where you can't control it anymore. So I'm losing a lot of my tomato plants because of that too. It's just a really bad year this year, really. We've been hit by 2 snowstorms, and that last snowstorm we had single-digit temperatures and below 0 temperatures here in Texas too, which is basically unheard of, you know. Very strange, very weird year. My fruit trees, the ones that did produce fruit, were my Alberta peach. So get this is what blows me away. So it's been raining every single day. The birds obviously are not thirsty, okay? And with all the rain, all the earthworms come up out of the ground, right? So they have plenty of bugs and earthworms to eat, right? But what do the birds choose to do? They choose to pick on my fruits, my peaches. So what they end up doing is picking on the peach, knocking them down, or putting a hole in them, and then that gives access to the bees and to other bugs. And my wife and I, we've tried picking as many as we can. But the bees and the bugs were just covered in bees and bugs. It's really out of control, to tell you the truth. So all the fruit that was not good for us to eat, that was full of worms and birds pecked on them and the bees and the bugs were all over them, we ended up putting all those in a bucket. Then we ended up giving all those to the chickens. They absolutely loved them. I don't think they've ever really had fresh fruit in that that quantity. You know, we've always thrown some fruit in there, of course, scraps and things like that. But that amount of fruit, they've never eaten all that. And most of those were plums. And the ones that we did eat out of those, they were so sweet. The skins were a little bitter, but the inside was so sweet and delicious. Oh, it was great. But at least they didn't go to total waste. Yeah, it's pretty depressing. And if you've been following my channel, you know how hard I work to try to you know, plant as much as I can and produce as much food as we can and store what we can, you know, through freeze drying or through canning or, you know, whatever the situation is. But this year it's really taken a toll on me and my wife, and just physically and mentally we're just drained. It got to the point where I just threw my hands up, and I'm just pretty much giving up on my garden. There's a few things, there's some eggplants that the flea beetles are just taking over and eating them. But again, I can spray neem oil and soap solution on there, but if it rains, I gotta spray again. And if it's a daily thing, it's just a waste. It doesn't do anything. So I got some eggplants, I got some peppers. They're kind of stunted. They should be nice and big right now. Eggplants, peppers. I got some zucchinis that are what's happening is it seems like they're not getting that big, but they already look old. The skin on them is already hard. So it's weird. It's just very strange. My other squash, my gugutsas, butternut squash, all them cucumbers, that tall. I should be picking cucumbers about now. Nothing. They're just stunted. There's so much rain. My theory is that it's washing the nutrients out of the ground, and I don't know. It's just depressing. And like I said, I lost a few of my fruit trees. One of them tipped over. It just fell over. Or is falling over, I should say. I can't cut the grass. Today is going to be a day where I cut the grass. After I get done with this video, I'm going to cut the grass. But I wasn't able to cut the grass hardly because obviously it's too wet, and there's areas on my property where it's a little low, so it's all puddled up there, and you can't drive a zero turn into mud because, you know, it happens, it gets stuck immediately. So that happened in the front of my property. I was cutting around by the ditch area, and I know how to stay away from the ditch, but I went to turn around and the zero turn slid right into the ditch, and that was it. I had to get my tractor and pull it out. But yeah, it's just when it's too much, it's just too much. It's just too much rain here in East Texas, and it's taking a toll on my wife and I. The garden is, like I said, I just threw my hands up. Whatever I can get out of it this year is fine. I probably won't be doing that many videos, gardening videos, this year, because it's pretty much a total loss. Anyways, yeah, pretty much a total loss. A few things are growing, and like I said, I won't be able to do that many videos this year. I'll be doing more chicken videos. And even the poor chickens are suffering because all around the chicken area and in their run is just mud and puddles of water. And I can't even get in there to get the mower in there to cut anything. And if you ever tried weed eating wet grass, what you look like afterwards is you just turn into the Jolly Green Giant. But yeah, too much of a good thing is not good, right? Too much rain. It's just too much water. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to do a little update on what's going on. Now the greenhouse, that shade cloth we put in, it does keep it a little cooler. We have temperatures in the 90s right now, mid 90s all week. Next week I'm supposed to go down into the 80s, which is going to be nice. But as you can see in there, it really does reduce the sun, and it shades it in there quite a bit, but still lets the sunlight through. That's a 40% shade cloth, and it seems like it's going to work out pretty good. Of course, The only thing we have growing in there right now is we got our sweet potatoes. We got some strawberries in pots. We were thinking about putting them in the garden, but with all this rain and stuff, and I don't know, they're doing good in there. And we pick enough every morning to clean, to cut up and put in our cereals. So it's nice having fresh strawberries in the morning. But it is working, and it does keep the temperatures a little cooler in there. It just keeps that intense sun from beating down on your plants, Chickens. The chickens are doing really good. I have 3 roosters. So out of 30 birds that I received, 2 arrived dead. But yet I counted them, I have 29, so they must have threw in an extra one. But anyways, I counted 3 roosters now. They were the ones that the wattles were developing sooner than the other ones. And then I could see their rear feathers were sticking up higher. And sure enough, before I knew it, I heard, Now these sound different than my blue Andalusian. My blue Andalusian rooster is loud and obnoxious and just always crowing constantly. It won't be long before I turn him into dog food or something, I don't know. But he's very annoying. Now these roosters, their crow is a little bit, it's not as high pitch, it's a little lower. And I think it's more bearable, more tolerable, or I can tolerate it better. So they are doing good. They are full size now. They should start laying eggs, we're thinking around the end of this month or beginning of July, right in that range. So I changed their food. I went from the growers, the growers feed to their egg layer feed, and I changed over to that, give them more calcium and stuff like that. I've been feeding them grub terra. If you don't know about grub terra, they are black soldier fly larvae. And these things are extremely nutritious. They're more nutritious than the mealworms. They get high concentrations of fats. These are the essential fats. And all the nutrients that they need, because you have to remember, I can't free range here. If they free ranged here without the hawks that I have, they can eat all the bugs and stuff they want. They can get very healthy, along with all the greens. But since I can't free range, I have to supply them with their greens and the bugs, and they need both, a combination of seeds, greens, and bugs for their diet. So you can get delicious, healthy eggs, and healthy chickens, of course. So I guess that's about it, guys. I just want to give you a little update on how depressing things are here with all the rain that we've had. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's only my wife and I, and there's only so much we can do, and we just have to deal with it. Now that the weather is kind of getting better, we're not supposed to be really getting that much rain this week, or even into next week. Not as much, anyways. It's going to give time for things to dry out. I mean, I was trying to pull weeds out, but what ends up happening is you're pulling up clumps of mud, and you end up even pulling up some of the plant itself, and you just can't work that way. And I got a special tool to take the weeds out, and but it doesn't work with mud. It just doesn't work. The soil has to be just right, moist. It's about it. So yeah, that's the update, guys. I got nothing else to rant and rave about other than my chickens are doing good, and that shade cloth seems to be working. Alright, guys, so thank you for putting up with my complaining here, and please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.